Hello, you're going to be in OneNote today. You'll continue drafting your essay, and I've sent you some examples. To give you an idea of due dates, for periods 1 and 2, I don't see you next Tuesday because of science state testing. So your due date in terms of projecting here is going to be a little farther out. For periods 6 through 9, I do see you next Tuesday because after state testing, we go through the rest of the day. So my goal is that after today, I see you in person 2 more times. We add to the intro and conclusion. We do anything we need to do with body paragraphs, and hopefully you would have this essay done by the 11th. An additional in-person day in terms of the calendar for periods 1 and 2 because I don't see you next Tuesday for state testing. In terms of examples I sent you, this I had shared with you over Zoom. I now sent it to you in case you need to use it more closely, but I think most people are beyond this, are taking this information and actually starting to draft. The page that you'll be drafting on. I took out the information at the top just so I could show this to you more clearly, but for now, your intro, just the thesis. When you bring your evidence over and you start thinking about it, you do need to create a claim because these are I-Seq paragraphs. There's a wide variety there, but make sure that your claim represents your evidence. Your claim should represent the evidence and support your overall thesis, but it should be specific to this info. In addition, if you paraphrased to begin with on your evidence page, go to the page that you have listed, get your quotes to support this claim that you have. Same thing here. I only have 2 body paragraphs shown here because I don't want to give people all of the work, but you will end up having 3 body paragraphs. Once you've done this and you're actually ready to start writing these paragraphs, putting them together with transitions to your evidence, with that additional explanation, all those things you know about in I-Seq, here's an example of what that would look like. I took this from a student who's a little bit ahead. They still just have their theme at the top, and then they've started to build their body paragraphs. They have 1.5 of them complete here. With this, they went with a slightly different claim for their first one than I used on the prior page, though they have the same evidence. It goes to show you that claims can be written a lot of different ways, but their claims do connect in terms of sequencing of their information, that this first claim talks about losing faith entirely, and then this other one's that if you don't lose faith entirely, you begin to lose faith. The biggest thing when you look this over, because I'm not going to go over every detail of it, is their transitions are there to give some context, but they could add more. Like when they talk about Moishe the beetle, they give only the basic amount of information, but they could have talked more about his importance, more about his background. Though they do use good signal phrases to transition to their quotes, there is a minimal amount of that background information or that context. The explanation, shorter here, but not as much to say. They bring it together at the end in 2 big statements. Their conclusion works in some ways to reinforce that explanation. It's not just a restatement of the claim, it reinforces the overall idea. So you are building full I-Seqs. You're making sure you have a representation of both motifs in the paragraph to say how this caused this, how either dehumanization or powerlessness impacted faith or religion, and make sure you explain it clearly. In this next one, hasn't really gone that far yet, but they are following that same structure. Things look pretty good. The one thing I'd point out is you don't have to write your claim exactly this way. It could mention Ellie, like how on this page, I'm using similar evidence to what that person was, and instead of focusing solely in on dehumanization, you could say after his first night in Auschwitz, Ellie reflects and begins to think negatively about God and faith. So you can do it sequential to the book for your claims, or you can focus more in on the motifs as you write it. Your goal for today, draft as much as you can of your body paragraphs so that when for periods 6 through 9, I see you next Tuesday, we finish this up for the first half of class, these body paragraphs, and then look at intro and conclusion. For periods 1 and 2, I don't end up seeing you until on Zoom. We'll try to do some things, and then the next Friday. But today, do as much as you can on these body paragraphs, using this example, using these ideas, build on what you already have started. Take care, and I will see you next week.